Good morning and happy new month to everyone. My name is Joy Dillon, and on behalf of the Girl Guides Association of Trinidad and Tobago, welcome to our week of empowerment and celebration that will primarily focus on African and African related culture against the backdrop of yesterday's annual Emancipation Day holiday. Emancipation is a constant state of being that is made possible through education and awareness. And that is our main objective for this week as we further empower our young women in our 108-year-old organization and prepare them for positions of exemplary leadership with the assistance of our respective facilitators, some local or locally based, some international. We at the Girl Guides Association therefore hope that each of you, your family members, and supporters will embrace this unique opportunity to join with us in learning for life. In the same breath, and in my capacity as publications chair, I express gratitude to all who made today possible, in particular the members of our executive committee, including our president, Mrs. Carolyn Sipasad Bechan, our Vice President, Mrs. Abigail Rickson, our Chief Commissioner, Mrs. Jacqueline Dolly, our Administrative Secretary and Training Commissioner, Ms. Angela Nesbitt, our Communications Commissioner, Ms. Sarah Ali, Ms. Jewel Hills, and Ms. Nadine Joseph, who helped with the graphics and social media campaign, and also Ms. Maria Dillon. Ladies, thank you very much. Today and indeed this week would not have been possible without your support and guidance. Likewise, I thank our facilitators for today who will impart their respective knowledge of Cameroon and the Yoruba language. And it would be remiss of me if I did not thank the people who are helping me today, namely Ms. Joanne Brown Samuel, Ms. Jewel Hills, Ms. Shiana Rampasad, and all who are participating behind the scenes but choose to remain nameless. Ladies, thank you very much. Now, without further ado, today's first facilitator is someone I am proud to call friend. His name is Mr. Luther Ivan Tchiatagne Fossi, or as he shared with me, it can also be pronounced as Mr. Luther Ivan Tchiatagne Fossi. He's a young Cameroonian who hails from the west region of the country. At present, he lives in Yaoundé, the capital city, which in his words is the city he knows best. Professionally, he specializes in the sociology of population and development and is also preparing to defend a PhD in sociology at the University of Yaoundé 1 on the topic Therapeutic Norms and Social Integration of Hypertensive People in Urban Cameroon. As a qualified sociologist, fieldwork and analyzing data, especially the qualitative ones sourced from visits to numerous cities and villages, are his daily duties. Furthermore, and owing to the fact that histories and documentaries are his fervent passion, he is also the owner and manager of Links Issues by Lift, LIFT, which provides a unique opportunity for his clients to gain a more informed insight into their personal histories by assisting them with accurately and comprehensively documenting of the lives and experiences of their respective family members. I now present to you Mr. Luther Ivan Chiatani or Chatanier Fossi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joy. Thank you very much for your introduction. I am really pleased to be here today. I think the girl guides, Trinidad and Tobago. I think you, Joy, we know each other for a long while now, and I appreciate really your support and how you've been helping and mentoring, let's say like that, mentoring me so far. Um, I also thank everybody here. I thank Joel. I thank the Shiana. I thank Joan. I thank Taser and all the people who are here on this panel. We're going to talk about the Cameroon, which is my country, Cameroon, which is my country, and Cameroon, which is this in Yaoundé, the city, which is the city in which I live every day. So, as I like the first video we saw, we just talk about, we used to talk about Africa like a poor country, Africa like misery or all kind of poverty. But now I want to say that I'm living in Africa. I'm not dead. I'm living in Africa, and there are things that I appreciate in my country. So we're going to share about it. I don't know if you get me better, like hearing me better now. Are you hearing me better?
A little better, yes. Thank you.
Okay. So I want to thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'd like us to go straight ahead to the presentation. It can be interactive. It means that you can just interrupt me if you have a question or something that you want to understand better. And at the end of things, the presentation, you can still ask your questions or state your curiosity point. Okay, I'd like to say that I am French speaking first. I'm French speaking, so I will say bonjour. Joy told me that you speak patois, which is kind of another language, but I speak French and I speak also English. So I'll say bonjour à tout le monde et bienvenue à ce panel. We're going to present directly. Let me share the screen so that we can go. Okay, this is the presentation. So um, can everybody see the shared screen?
If everyone can see, just raise your hands, please. Thank you.
Okay, nice. Thank you very much. Okay, I can see.
You can lower your hands now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is the screen. This is the presentation we're going to have here. Cameroon is a country which is found in Africa, as I said earlier. And today we're going to see enough Cameroon insight by me, let's say so. So, what we can say about Cameroon is that Cameroon is a. I hope you are seeing exactly at the same time because I see it seems you're having. Okay,
Right.
okay. So here is Cameroon. This is the African continent, and also you can see in red the map of Cameroon found there. Cameroon is located. There's a debate about the location of Cameroon here in Africa. Cameroon is located either in Central Africa or in West Africa. It depends from where you stand. What I would like to say is that here in Cameroon, we have another view of that. According to you, I don't know what you think about it. Is it here Central Africa or West Africa, the position of Cameroon? I don't know if somebody can say something about that before we go further.
How many people think it's Central Africa? Raise, show by a raise of hand.
Okay, okay,
And how many people think it's West Africa? Show by a raise of hand.
okay. Great.
Okay, you can lower your hands now.
Okay, now you see that. Okay, I see three and two. People think that Cameroon is in West Africa, and other people think that it's Central Africa. In fact, actually, internationally, in the other countries, they used to say that Cameroon is West Africa. But actually, what we are taught here in Cameroon since the primary school is that Cameroon is found in Central Africa. So there's a debate really about that, and we don't really know how to say. When you're Cameroon, you say you're in Central Africa, but when you're abroad, generally people say it's West Africa. As many of you have said. Now we have some neighboring countries. Cameroon has 6 neighboring countries: Chad in the north, Central African Republic in the east, Nigeria in the west. In the south, we have Congo, we have Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea. So these are the countries that we're talking about. Nigeria here, here we have Chad, here we have Central African Republic, Congo, Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea, which is the smallest country in Central Africa, let's say so. It has the shape of a triangle, so sometimes you hear people saying that Cameroon is a national triangle, or we talk about the we all around the national triangle. We are talking about the country. So Cameroon has access to the Atlantic Sea through the Atlantic Ocean through its littoral. The littoral region is that one found here. Which littoral region, the south region also is here, and the southwest region also is found here. So this is Atlantic Ocean. Cameroon and Trinidad and Tobago. Here we have let's say map that shows Trinidad and Tobago here, and we have Cameroon here. So according to you, how far is Cameroon from Trinidad and Tobago and vice versa? Is it 10,000 kilometers? Is it 5,000 kilometers? Is it 8,000 kilometers? Or 2,000 kilometers? According to what you see from the map, which is presented here. Mm.
So, how many people think it's 10,000 kilometers between the two countries? Okay, I'm seeing one hand so far. How many people think it's 5,000 kilometers? One hand so far. Or two hands, okay. How many people think it's 8,000 kilometers? One hand, two hands, okay. No, three hands. No, two. Okay, and how many people? Four. How many people think it's 2,000 kilometers? One hand. Okay. Well, Luther Ivan, how far are we? You're muted.
Okay, it is 8,000 kilometers, exactly 8,080 kilometers to be precise. So this is the distance that we have between Cameroon and Trinidad and Tobago. So it's a long journey to get to reach Cameroon or to reach Trinidad and Tobago from one country to another. So let's talk about now the flag of Cameroon. So here it's kind of quiz. We have four flags here, the A, the B, C, and D, and one of them is Cameroon's flag. According to you, is Cameroon flag flag A, flag B, flag C, or flag D?
You can unmute yourselves and let him know which number you think it, which letter you think it is, whether it's A, B, C, or D. How many people think it's E? Okay, not seeing anybody. How many people think it's B? Anybody? I'm not seeing any hands raised or any mics unmuted. How many people think it's B? Okay, one person thinks it's B. How many people think it's C? Two hands.
Oh, excuse me, miss. I didn't mean to put up my hand.
Oh, sorry, that's okay. And how many people think it's D? I'm seeing one hand. No, two hands. Okay. All right. So, Ivan, which is it? Thank you,
Okay,
lady.
thank you very much for participating in this voting or quiz. Cameroon's flag is the D. Flag A is Senegal. Flag B is Ethiopia. Flag C is Ghana, and flag D is Cameroon that we're talking about. So, and then some of you have found it. So it's true that Africa, you can see that in Africa, green, red, and yellow are the most shared flag that we have here. So, after talking about the flag, let's talk about my Cameroon. The total area of Cameroon is 475,442 kilometers. It is the 24th largest country in Africa, and the capital city is Yaoundé, where I'm found now. We will have other major cities such as Douala. We have Bafoussam, Douala, which is the economic capital, the second one, and Douala, Bafoussam, Gara, and Limbe, which are the other most important towns found in Africa. Let's talk about some population facts of Cameroon. Cameroon has more than 25 inhabitants called Cameroonians. About 80% of them speak French, while about 20 speak English. This is due to the history of Cameroon. We're going to talk about it later. But 80%, like me, speak French, and other people speak 20% speak English. It is separated in two. It means that the majority of the area of Cameroon is found in French-speaking regions, and the rest, which is the northwest and the southwest region, speak English, and they are about 20% of the republic. And there are more than 250 ethnic groups that speak about 250 different languages. For instance, Pangviti, Bamileke, Sawa, Peul, and so on. It is more than 250 because we have some villages language is another. It means that you can be in the same area, you can even be a neighbor to an area, but don't understand what people say when they speak. So this is very important here. The major region we're having is Christianity, followed by Islam. We also have traditional indigenous religions here in Cameroon. These are the regions that were found here when the people who, when let's say, when people came to Cameroon for the, let's say, when Europeans came to Cameroon. So here in the pictures, you can have the Independence Place here. You can see crowd in the Independence Place. Here is the monument of the independence. You can see the President of the Republic here and his wife, who is the First Lady Chantal Biya. So Paul Biya is the French, is the president, and the Chantal Biya is the First Lady. How long, how wide? The length of Cameroon from north to south, we have 1,200 kilometers. The width from the east to west is about 800 kilometers. So traveling on the road, if you want to go from the south to the north or the north to the south using a bus or a car, it will take you about 30 hours to travel. 30 hours sitting traveling. It means that you have no stop, just traveling. They'll just change the driver, but you'll be still sitting in the same car. And there are companies that do so. But if you use a plane, it is less than 90 minutes from one side to another. But let's not talk about using your foot to walk. So it will take you days and days. The highest mountain found in Cameroon is Mount Cameroon, which has 4,100 meters altitude. So these are the images of Mount Cameroon here. You can see a more precise picture of it, on top picture of it that was taken, snapped by somebody. It's also a volcanic mountains. It means that sometimes we have lava from there. I mean, and sometimes we need to evacuate people from around the mountain. A lesson in history, naming Cameroon. You can see in this slide that we have some shrimps here. The shrimps are found here because the name Cameroon means shrimps. In fact, to be precise about it, the name was given by Portuguese explorer. The name is Fernando Po. He arrived in Cameroon in the Cameroon coast in 1472, and he found lots of shrimps in the Vuri River. The Vuri River is here down there on the picture we have here, and the Vuri River, and he said this is the Rio dos Camarones, which means river of shrimps. Then after, the Spanish called it Camerones, and the German called it Cameroon. Afterwards, the English called it Cameroon, Cameroon, and the French called it Cameroon, which has almost the same pronunciation, but the only difference is found at the Roun. From the above, it is possible to see that the country was not created by the Portuguese or explorers. There was already a land that it discovered, but did not know as they did not know it. Sorry. The history of Cameroon now. Cameroon was, before the European came to Cameroon, it was made of many small kingdoms, and Cameroon has never been a colony. This is something said and spread, that Africa was colonized, and only Ethiopia or Liberia that did not. But Cameroon has never been a colony. It is the only country out, if you don't consider Ethiopia and Liberia, that have never been colonized. What happened is that the Cameroon chiefs signed a treaty with the Douala chiefs. The Douala chiefs signed a treaty with the Germany in 1884. So it was not a colony. It means that there was no war. There was not kind of domination. It was kind of agreement that they signed, even if later on the Germans decided that they would betray what they wrote on the paper. After the one who signed, let me show you the picture. The one who signed the treaty is that man sitting here. His name is King Bell. He's one who signed the treaty. After the First World War in 1914 and 1918, the country was split into two between France and England, as these two European countries received a mandate given by the League of Nations, which later on became known as the United Nations, to rule the country. And after the Second World War, both France and England kept on ruling the country with the permission of the UN. But Cameroonians were not happy and wanted independence. Then they fought for it. So you can see here in the middle of the picture in the middle here, you can see people in the grassfield regions. So it's barely how people were used to live before, let's say before European came in Africa. And at the right here, you can see Ruben Ignobe and his companion in the fight for independence. Ruben Ignobe is the one who has the sunglasses here. And you can see here, this one here is Felix Moumier. They were very active and very, let's say, determined to have the independence of Cameroon. They were later on killed by the French soldiers, but finally we got the independence. And now let's talk about that independence. On the 1st of January 1960, Cameroon became an independent country with Amadi Haijo as the first president. The second president of the country is the current one, which is always Paul Biya. And you can see on the pictures down here, at the left, you have Amadou Haijo on the Independence Day, the 1st of January 1960. And he's the same here in the middle. You can see in the background the first, let's say, house of the president in Cameroon. And the second president, he is here again. Paul Biya, he's now the ruling the country since the first left. And we have the Independence Place nowadays. As we're talking, this is the monument that represents the independence of Cameroon. It's a large place where people can go and just have fun and or just to work. Some fun facts about Cameroon. Cameroon is the biggest economy in the CEMAC region. CEMAC is in French, Communauté économique et monétaire d'Afrique centrale. So it's a kind of organization which includes all the neighboring countries except Nigeria, because Nigeria, as I told you earlier, Nigeria is supposed to be in the West Africa, and we consider ourselves to be in Central Africa. So we are here with Chad, Gabon, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, and others. But Nigeria, which is near, let's say, a neighbor of Cameroon, is not found in that economy. Nigeria is rather found in what we call ECOWAS or UEMOA in French. The city life of Cameroon, we have the capital city is Yaoundé, as I said earlier. The economic capital is Douala, but we have 10 main cities in each of the 10 regions that are found here in Cameroon. We have Yaoundé, Douala, Ebolova in the south, Betoa in the east, Ouéa in the southwest, one of the English-speaking region in Cameroon, Bamenda in the northwest. We also have Bafoussam in the west region, Gaoundéré, Gara, and Mara. So you can see some pictures here. Here's the Reunification Monument that was built in 1972, because since the independence happened in 1960, but from 1960 to 1972, Cameroon were two countries. It was a federal state. That is, we had Anglophone states and Francophone state. But in 1972, they decided that they will put it together and have only one Cameroon. So today, Cameroon is no more a federal state, it's rather a United States. So it's like that. We have here Douala Port, we have Douala, the city of Douala, we have the Yaoundé here in the down, the capital city, and we have hills and buildings in Yaoundé. So Yaoundé has many hills. So most of the time you see you climb, you go down, you climb, you go down. This is how Yaoundé is made. Whereas Douala is rather it's a kind of a plain surface that we have. Cameroon is divided in 4 main areas. The first one is the south and the east regions. Here we have equatorial forest, and you have the picture of it here. It's really dense forest, and Cameroon, let's say Cameroon is one of the biggest. When we talk about wood or trees, Cameroon has, I can consider the second most important forest in Africa. Congo is the first, then Cameroon and Gabon have let's say much forest. In the northern Cameroon, you can have more plains. Northern Cameroon is found here at the right, top right. You have some peaks that we're having here, but it's relatively plain. In the west region, you have grassfield and mountains. The western region is here at the right, but down rather. In the southwest, we have the littoral region. You have the south region, and you have the sea. Here you can see the picture of the beach, Kribi, which is the biggest beach, the most visited beach in our country. Beach time. Talking about beach, you have again another picture of the Creepy Beach here, and you can have some sea products that were taken in the let's say in the sea, or let's say the ocean, because this is kind of Atlantic Ocean that is we are seeing here. So if you want to go to beach, you go to the southwest or the south region. The most known regions are the most known region we can have beaches is Krabi and the south region. When you get there, you can some have some fresh fish, and you can also play on sand or play and swim under the control of supervisors. Um, food time. We have some meals here in Cameroon, many meals. I told you earlier that we have more than 250 ethnic groups and also 250 uh, languages, local languages, but we have many traditional meals. First of all, we say we have also modern meals. We don't have McDonald's here, so it's impossible to see it. We have some fast food, but it's not McDonald's. They are generally locally made fries or things like that. Here we have. Let's start from the from the top left. We have Nkui. Have Nkui, which is a food that comes from the west region. On the right, we have the arrow. Arrow is a food made from vegetable, and it comes from the Anglophone regions. It means from the southwest and the northwest regions. We also have ndole down here. Ndole is a food which comes from the littoral region, from the Sawa. We call it that. That is the Sawa region. And ndole is still kind of vegetables, which is also accompanied with cassava. This cassava paste that was baked later on. So we have it here. We have taro. Taro, you call it there dashing. It's taro. This means that you have it, we pound it, and we make it with yellow sauce, as you can see here, and plenty of meat or mushrooms, as you can see here. We have bouillon. We call it here in French like that. Here it's made of it's kind of oxtail soup. You can serve it with cocoyam or Irish potato. It depends on you. We have also okok, which is another food that comes from the central region of Cameroon. It's made of leaves. We call it I don't know the exact name in French, but the original name of it is Nietum africanum. It's kind of a kind of plant that grows in forest, and people live in forest are the ones who decided to create a name. Here we have BHB. We call it in French beignet, haricot, ébouilli. So it's donut, bean, and porridge. So we can eat it every time of the day. Depends on you can eat it for the breakfast or for the lunch or even for the dinner supper later on. So anytime you can have it and eat it from people who sell it in the streets of Yaoundé. Now we talk about some traditional outfits. As we have many ethnic groups, we also have many wearing styles. We have Kabangondo here. This comes from the littoral regions. It is from the Sawaland, as I said earlier. It was created by them. It is. I would like to say first that some of these clothes are, let's say, only used for a category of people, but most other use can be worn by everybody. The Kabangono can be worn by everyone. It means that the littoral region created the dress, the outfit, and now everybody can wear it. You can be from the grass field, you can be from the south region, from the west region, wherever you come from, you can decide to wear this Kabangono. You have no problem with that. Down here you have Gandura. Gandura is mostly worn by people from the north, the far north, and the Adamawa region. So the region that are mostly having Muslims inside. Down here again, down on the right, you have the another Sawa traditional outfit, which is composed of what we call sanja. So sanja is exactly the, let's say, the down part of the clothing. It means that in the rest of Cameroon, we used to men used to wear either trousers or things like that. Sorry, either trousers or things like that. But in Sawa region, it doesn't mean that they only wear this sanja, but in tradition, their tradition, it is men who used to wear this sanja. So you can see them with some with shirts and then this sanja and the other traditional outfit that you can see that you can have here. I'll end with these two up there. These two are, I decided I would talk about it later on because it is these clothes that you cannot see everybody wearing in the street. First of all, the togu, the black one here. It comes from the Grassroots region, especially from the Northwest region. It is worn mainly by, let's say, traditional rulers and his, let's say, his collaborators. Nowadays, it is more spread to see somebody wearing it in the street. But when you see somebody wearing it in the street, it is more for an event such as a wedding. It can be here. It is Cameroon. It is a Cameroon team, feminine Cameroon team. In was I don't remember exactly where, but it was taken for the during a when our athletes go for competitions, the government authorizes them to wear this outfit so that it will represent the country. But in the street, in everyday life, you would barely see somebody wearing this. It is most reserved for special occasions. And at the right of it, you can see this man wearing the blue and the other people wearing blue. And here is also an outfit that comes from the grass-fed region, this time around from the Bamileke region. And this traditional fabric is called ndop. It is kind of a heavy, um, it's heavy clothes. In fact, it's not something light, it's something very heavy. It is only, this time around, it's only worn by people who are having a relationship with chiefdom. It means that if you are not a noble, if you can say like that, if you are not coming from the traditional chiefdom, you might not be allowed to wear this dop. It's not possible. For let's say, talking about it, if you see somebody wearing it in the street, it means the person is clearly from that region. I'll talk about something that happened in the 20th May in Cameroon. 20th May in Cameroon is the Unity Day. It's a national day of Cameroon. And on that day, the first lady that we saw earlier, the first lady wore this. She wore it on, she doesn't wear it like an outfit. She just put it like on her shoulder like this for like a handkerchief or something like that. But in the streets, people were murmuring. They were saying, how come she wore that? First of all, she's not from that tribe, from that ethnic group. Second, she's not a noble in the traditional society. So there were many people that were not, they were not really happy to see her wearing that, despite that she's the first lady of Cameroon. So this is to tell you the importance of it for the Bamileke region and how they consider this special ndop that we have in here.
Hi,
May
Luther Ivan. Excuse. Going back
okay,
to that previous
yes,
slide,
okay,
what is that item the men are holding in their hands? What do you call that?
okay, this is the whole still, whole still. So it's part of the traditional how will I say that? Traditional ceremonies. It means that when you see, you cannot even exactly from this also. Thank you, Joy, for the question. This particular item they are having, you can even see somebody wearing it up, but the person will never be walking around with this particular horse tail. It is just for ceremonies and used by authorized persons that were appointed by the chief of look the Bamileke. Let's say there are many chiefs in Bamileke regions. So you have to be from the Bamileke land first. Then you have to have the authorization from your own chief as a Bamileke, who will allow you to wear not only the ndop but also that oxtail during the ceremonies only. During the ceremony only. It means that for even the chief himself, you never see him walking around with all these outfits. No, you see him with it if he's exerting his functions as a chief. If he's going to the farm, you not see him wearing this, either the hostel or the even the hats that they're having here. They're not wearing it every time, especially this one. I don't know the second. This man has a special one, which is very special one, and this one also is another special hat that they are wearing. So it's not something that is supposed to be worn by everybody. It's something that is done only for special or specific ceremonies. So this is it. I don't know if I answered your question, Joy.
Thank you very much. You did.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now let's go on to this slide made in Cameroon. Famous personalities. I would start saying that in Cameroon, football is the favorite sport of Cameroonians. It means that if you can see people sitting in the bars, you can see streets empty and public places full of people, it's because there is a football. When I talk about football, I don't know if it's the same definition you're having there, because football, you're talking about soccer. I don't know, in the United States they call it soccer. In England we call it football. So football is a favorite sport that we have here in Cameroon. One of the best player of history in Cameroon is Roger Mila. His picture is found down here. Roger Mila, you can see jubilating after he scored a goal. He was the most important player that we ever had. At his, let's say, next to him, we have Samerito, which is the second most important player that Cameroon has ever had before. So till now, we don't have these two at the best, and we don't have anybody else that can say they have the own level or the level of these two football players. But we also have Manu Dibango. Manu Dibango, I don't know if people, some of you know him. He died in 2020, and he was the biggest saxophonist that Cameroon had. So it was a great, very, very great loss when he died in 2020. So we were all, it was kind of, it was a national mourning on that day, really national mourning. He is the one of the most important beat maker, most of important makossa player, and most important saxophone player in Cameroon. And to tell you how important he was, Michael Jackson used his song. I would say Michael Jackson copied his song without permission. Rihanna did the same. I don't know if you know the hit Sama 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 Makusa, Sama 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 Makusa. It is Mari Dibango who played that song for the first time. He created that song. And we also have Talan Mari. He's here. He's one with sunglasses. Actually, it's not sunglasses because he's blind. He plays guitar. He has revolutionated. He has brought a revolution to the Cameroon music by creating a music that we call Benskin. He's from the grassroots region, particularly Bamileke, and he he made it to be international. He was so inspired that James Brown, the late James Brown that we know in the United States of America, copied his song also without permission. There was a trial, and they did what they could. And at the end of it, James Brown used to have paid him so that let's say he would just be get the reward of the work he did. And we have up there these funny people that you can see here. They were really playing fun. The Zangalewa group. This group was formed by a musician called Zebela. He is an author, a songwriter, interpret, and they're also a musician. Zangalewa, he's the one here with a big, let's say, stomach, big belly here. It's not actually, he's actually real belly. It's just clothes that he put inside. He created the song Zamina Mina Waka Waka that you heard from Shakira. They say
World Cup song, everyone.
World Cup, yes, in World Cup 2010 in South Africa. So Shakira copied this, and she, yes, she just copied the song without authorization again. Just to tell you how talented some of our compatriots are, or some of our fellow Cameroonians are. We can have here Shaloji Panda down in the right. Shaloji Panda is one of the most beautiful voices we have here in Cameroon. So if you type on the internet, you see she plays Makossa, which is the rhythm that was created by Melody Bango. She plays slow. She plays let's say almost every kind of music she does. So she doesn't do rap or things like that, but she's really known here in Cameroon and in diaspora too. The last person I'll talk about is Kares Photo. I decided to talk about her the last because she is not only a guitar player, as you can see her here, she's not only a singer, she's not only a songwriter, not only an actress, because she plays in some Cameroon movies, but also she's a princess from the Bamileke land. This is why you can see on her waist this ndop you've talked about earlier. So she's very active on social media, and she's a princess from the Banjul chiefdom in the west of Cameroon, the Bamileke region of Cameroon. So this is what we can say about our main or most important personalities that we have here in Cameroon. There are many, many, many of them that I can say. If I will talk about them, we'll speak to you tomorrow. But let's just talk about these 7 or 6 people we're having here. So I will thank you very much for the attention. I will say merci beaucoup. As I said, I speak French also. Merci beaucoup pour votre attention. Thank you very much for kind attention. I'm ready to answer your question or to hear your comments about the presentation that was made here. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Luther Ivan. And now, if anyone has any questions, you can raise your hands and he would be happy to answer them. Or you can unmute your mic, and you can unmute your mic once your hands are raised. Thank you. Okay, I want to ask a question, and I would like you to speak about in the meantime, while we wait for questions from the audience, can you speak a bit more about the Togo fabric, please? How is it easy to access in Cameroon, and is it cheap? Meaning anyone can purchase it.
Talking about the Togo, it's not something that is cheap. It's really, really expensive. It is something that not only as I told you, when something is not accessible, it is consequently something that's very expensive. Um, Togo, it is a kind of fabric that is look like velvet. It's black, as you can see. Generally, you can see black. You can also have it in purple, but it's more common to see it in black color. It's like kind of velvet, and you have embroidered thread that decorate it. This is why you can see this particular. Let me show you, please. If you allow me to share your screen again. Okay. Okay. So if you can see here, it is handmade. This motif that you're having here, it is handmade. These patterns, it is handmade, and it is a kind of it is a special thread which is also used for that. So it takes time. It takes let's say money to make it, and it's something that is really really it is not common to see. So when you want to buy it, you have to put a price to buy it. It's not a common product you can find everywhere. It's not a common product you can also so you can buy it for cheap. You cannot buy it for cheap.
Thank you, Luther Ivan. I'm seeing in
Thank you
the
very much.
chat, Josephine is saying, thank you, Mr. Luther Van, for the information.
Okay, thank you very much, Josephine, for your reaction. Thank you very much.
Anyone else has any comments or questions for Mr. Luther Ivan? Jael says thank you. Jael Tony says thank you. I'm seeing a hand raised. Girl Guides Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Go ahead, please.
Yes,
Angela?
Joanne.
Oh, sorry, Joanne.
Yes, in I handling the system. I would like to find out how the economy, if it's stable, what do you think about the economy in Cameroon? How does it go? If it's stable, unstable, if it's, how do you think it? How does it go? How it is at this moment? Seeing so many things happening all around the world. So how is the economy, how the country is going in Cameroon? Because I've seen some beautiful pictures in Cameroon there. I would like to estimate the price to get there from Trinidad, and if it's a direct flight or or we had to stop off also, but how the economy goes? Thank you.
Okay, if I heard well, the question is about how is the economy of Cameroon
Yeah,
going now. Okay,
yes.
thank you very much. We are happy to be the first economy of the Central African region and the CIMAC region, as I said earlier. The economy is not that, let's say, the government is trying its best to make conditions better, to show that we can improve things. But Cameroonians are really dynamic people, really dynamic. As I say that, I would like to say many of Cameroonians do not only wait on the uh, government to employ them. Many of them are fighting for themselves. They are entrepreneurs. They try to do, even for sometimes you can see somebody working in informal sector, trying to do what he does. We have talked about the BHB, Binyari Kubui, or donut beans and porridge. It is mainly done by people who just try themselves, try to make sure that they have something to live with, but they're also part of the economy of the country. You will barely see somebody in the streets sleeping out in the streets. Um, it's not because we don't have, it's because of the solidarity that we have here in Africa in general, but also here in Cameroon. It means that economy is doing rather, the difficulty we're having now is most because of the Ukraine crisis that everybody talk about. It's also due to the fact that we have some difficulties in the southwest, the northwest region, because there are some troubles there. But at a global state, at a global scale, we can see that Cameroon has a really interesting, not only potential, but also economy. To tell you how important it is, um, we are considered to be the, how do you say that in English? The where other country come to take even food to eat. Gabon comes to Cameroon to take food. Chad comes to Cameroon. Central African Republic, let's say, let's not talk about it because almost everything that is sold in South Africa, Central African Republic, comes from Cameroon. Equatorial Guinea too, and also Congo. It means that Cameroon is kind of, if Cameroon if Cameroon economy collapses, if Cameroon economy collapses, it will be really a catastrophe for the, not only for Cameroon but also from the from the other regions. So yes, Cameroon is the main exporter of products, agricultural products, and also manufactured products for the other regions. So this is to say the importance of Cameroon in the sub-region and Central African sub-region. So as a country in Africa, we still have some challenges that we need to face, and we are struggling for that, despite some difficulties that we'll be having. But generally, Cameroon is, yes, it's a really giant economy here in Central African Republic. Yes, I would like I would like to say an anecdote if you allow me to do so. Um, Zaire, as I told you, Zaire. I say Zaire because previously the country was called Zaire. Now it is Democratic Republic of Congo, which is one of the biggest country in Africa in terms of area, in terms of area. There was a fight between Cameroon and Zaire in the time where Mobutu was the president of the republic, Mobutu Sese Seko. I don't know if you know. Cameroon was jealous of its, let's say, its position in Central Africa, and it is said that Congo was the Democratic Republic of Congo was supposed to be part of the CEMAC region. We talked about it, but yes, there were two giants, and they were discussing the place. This is why finally the GRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, finally decided to that he would go and find itself in let's say another regional organization. So Cameroon is really big. It has great potential, and good management, we can have improved the situation of the country. We have really potential. I talked about the forest. There is gold. There is diamond. There is I don't know how to call it in English. Bauxite. We call it bauxite in French. We use it to make, yes, bauxite. We have bauxite. We have not only the seas. We have how do you call that? Gas. We have natural gas. We have all these natural resources are found here in Cameroon. So it is sometimes we can have some mismanagement, but we have everything, not only the will from the people, but also the resources to be the big economy that we are and that we intend to be tomorrow.
Thank you very much. That sounds exciting. That sounds good. So you're all stable in a sense. Stable.
Thank you.
It's,
Thank
you know,
you.
thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, everyone. Do we have any further questions for Luther Ivan? No questions? No comments? Okay. Luther Ivan.
Joy, he didn't
Yes?
tell us how to get there.
Oh, okay. Hi,
Yes,
Miss Reed. Thank you. So yes, Luther Ivan,
Okay.
thank you. How do
How
we
to
get to
get
Cameroon?
Okay, from Trinidad and Tobago, you get here by
Yes.
plane. Yes, you can use plane. It is the easiest way to get to Cameroon or vice versa. So plane. The problem we are having here is that every plane that comes out of Cameroon, sometimes they used to go to France first before going to the America continent. So this is the problem we're having. But generally, it is only plane that you can use to come to Cameroon or to go from Cameroon to Trinidad and Tobago. Plane is the best way. Let's say so.
So is it that we go from here to the US, then the US to France, or we can go from England and then get a flight to Cameroon? How does it work?
Now you depend on how you travel from Trinidad and Tobago. If you need to go to the United States to get an international flight, then you go to United States, and then from there it will depend on the plan of the company that will make you fly. If you go use Air France, I don't know, American Airways or something like that, it will depend on how they'll plan the flight. Depend on that.
It have a direct flight to from Trinidad to Amsterdam. Okay, could we take it from Amsterdam to Cameroon?
No, for the moment, I don't think that there is direct flight. The reason is what I told you earlier. Here in Cameroon, we have a national company for flight, but it is not, let's say, it's only turning around. It hardly deserve flight for the regions. It means it goes to Gabon, to Chad, and other countries. But if you want to go, if you have a flight, you use either French flights, Moroccan flights, or Emirates, Fly Emirates, or the other international companies. You use them to go there. Direct flight, I'm not sure we're having from Trinidad and Tobago to Cameroon. It will be very, very difficult to find it. Very difficult. Generally, it is as I told you, when people are going from Canada or to United States, they
Oh,
go from Cameroon,
That's
they go to France or to United Kingdom
Mhm.
before they can reach the American continent. This is how it's done. So,
Okay. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So we can start saving from now for that trip to Cameroon in the near future.
Thank you very much. I'll be glad to welcome you here.
Thank you, Luther Ivan. Do we have any further comments or questions for Luther Ivan? Going once, going twice. Okay. So Luther Ivan, on behalf of the Girl Guides Association of Trinidad and Tobago, we thank you very, very much for your presentation. You actually got the ball rolling this week. So thank you very much for being in the very tough #1 position to open the proceedings. Thank you so much for your insight
It
into
done.
the natural triangle and the land of shrimps. We learned quite a lot.
It done.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you
Merci
very
beaucoup.
much.
We hadden join that 11.
And
11 verteld. Ja, we think dat
do,
en verder boek met de
do have a
prints.
safe, and we wish you a very safe and enjoyable week. And again, thank you. We look forward to any future collaborations with you. And thank you again. Have a
Not a
good day.
pleasure. Thank you.
What time is it in Cameroon, by the way?
Now it is 4 p.m.
It is 4 p.m. So it is now 11 a.m. here. So it is 4 p.m. across there. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is an aside. We have our next session coming up featuring our Yoruba, Learn Yoruba session, which you have to register for beforehand. So if you don't, we are going to share the link with you. You have to register in order to access the session because each session carries a separate link. So let's share the session, please. Let me share the link just now. There was the link. I'm also going to share it in the chat. Please register and we'll see you in a few minutes. Again, with Ivan, merci beaucoup. Au revoir, mon ami. Thank you very much, everyone. See you in the next session. Bye-bye.
So when you close off, then I will